I'll come in, I'll look at one, make sure the business models and everything are in tight. What does it look like as far as an inner business? Like a lot of times, you'll have but you don't have the business model. And that's the first thing investors going to look for.
You're like a consultant.
Exactly. I mean, because I have so many years of this, and it's not even on so many years working corporate. Not so many years getting sponsor dollars from brands.
Right.
So the same thing these brands want to see from a party standpoint, and like dotting your I's, crossing your T's. Investors in the cannabis industry want to see the same thing with these businesses. Really going in and making sure that at the same breath that you can go in any bank with this packet
and pitch your profit margins,
a proper packet.
Right.
So that in that aspect, that's what I do. The end goal is self-sustainable, growth for the communities, But at the end of the day, we understand there is a market for it. Working with a few projects where we're actually built mass grows. Partnered with 2 farms. Won't disclose really locations, but
you gotta say.
I mean, but in the same breath, we're really just trying to build the content for the grow boxes.
Okay,
and make sure that
so when you say you don't have to tell us where, but when you say partner with farms, what exactly does that mean? Like, did you have to invest money with them, or did they put money into your business?
So we on one end we went and revamped their entire grow. Okay. So from top to bottom, like redid all their grows. Made sure that because our team. I mean, we have electrical engineers. Mechanical engineers, like we have a legit team, so it's not like some homies in the basement.
Right.
So going out there, making sure that their system is intact and on point. But in the same breath, being that we operate in the California side and we operate in the DC side, we work hand in hand to make sure that anything that we do in either market, we have the full menu, just to get the brand out there.
Right.
Outside of that, I mean, the butter is real big right now. I've been working with a lot of chefs because there's a lot of like canna brunches, private chef events. And we realized that, why fight, once again, why fight for what everybody else is doing.
So would you consider yourself a weed chef? Like, do you know how to make a bunch of weed culinary?
I do know how to do it, but a wise man told me if you can find quality for a low price, pay the price.
Right.
That's enough anything. Because like at the end of the day, it's such a regulated entity that, we have to have the lab testing. It has to match with what we say it is on the labeling.
So that's big. So going with the butter, like, do you have to put a specific amount of CBDs, a specific amount of THC levels, specific amount and how close is that percentage? Does it have to be? It has to be like.
I mean, with these graphic designers 24/7 for flyers and logos. Why not? Come in and add our own twist.
Tie it in.
Especially when you go in these places and they got plastic bags with cheap stickers on there. They're not die cut. I mean, little things. But to the butter piece, you do have to have the labeling on there. It needs to, depending on where you're selling, needs to be it needs to adhere to the proposition of the wherever you're at. And for our butter, we have the label on the size end. Like it's just the old school. When you cut this slab, that's enough for X amount of servings, X amount of milligrams.
Okay, so like the regular person, let's just say like they smoke weed every once in a while, like they smoke blunt, or they smoke a blunt, bud, whatever. To them, they hear butter. It's like, okay, so how much is in that butter? What do I do with this butter? Do I cook with it? Can I make cookies with it? Whatever. And if I do, like, what's the strength of that butter? And how much of that butter can I use? You know what I mean?
I mean, so many times when I went to LA, I saw 100 milligrams. I'm like,
what does that mean? Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that? So we found ways to be quirky and fun with what this measurement does and how much you should use. Granted, we have the milligrams and whatnot on the packaging. We have that because we have to, but we make it very clear.
Good,
this
because
is 2 servings.
Yeah, like one time I had a brownie and I think the brownie must have been 300 milligrams or something like that, and I ate the whole brownie in one sitting. And it was a bad day. Like, it was a bad time. So I read somewhere after that you're supposed to have between like 10 and 15 milligrams depending on what you're having. And
sitting. Really say, but 10 to 15 will get you right. Okay. When I buy right, you're looking at about 4 to 5 hours of a buzz. In that buzz, it shouldn't be high anxiety. It shouldn't be a super crazy elevated feel. It should be a very smooth.
Okay, because you just described my brownie.
To that point, I realized that there was a market. I realized that in creating packaging that's fun with the consumer, like I'm not trying to force you to learn what milligrams are. But I'll tell you what the milligram is, but I'll also tell you what the dosage is.
Exactly, and I think that information is important for folks that were in Nick's position, as he was explaining last week, where he just ate a whole entire brownie, not knowing what the milligrams were, meant, dosage-wise, and how much they should take. You know what I mean?
But this like the other side of that too is that like you've had niggas who like when you go to different like events or whatever, and you see like a guy selling edibles, and it's like, all right, I had half of it, I'm not really feeling anything, and then you like basically eat like 2 of them and you still don't feel anything. So like that can shift your perception of like edibles, because when you go to California, everything hits over there. Ring pops are like the little candies. Little candies will
the
ruin
cherries.
you. They'll ruin you.
Yeah. I'm afraid of edibles because of the experiences that I've had, and it's like, the one chance that I had to have a great experience, I was greedy because the Chex Mix that I had tasted really good, and I ate way more than I should have. So then I was like, damn.
But it's like getting drunk. Like the first time you drinking alcohol, you're like, I'm not feeling anything. I'm gonna have another shot. Then you start feeling good, and then all of a sudden you throw up.
But it's like the difference with alcohol. Alcohol will hit you in like 10 to 15 minutes. Like you don't really know when an edible is gonna fully.
I mean,
hit
you do get the warning. Everybody says about half an hour, 45 minutes. So, but it's just as humans, we don't have that patience. I
Especially
agree
with
you.
food. It's like
I did the same. I had 100 milligrams one time. That shit. I could have had a bit more, but it put me down.
Put you out.
Down. Like I slept for like I felt like I was sleeping for 2 days. Like, you're laying down. It almost feels like the bed is like you're falling through the bed. Like
Ty was in the sunken zone.
I was in the sunken place. The shit was crazy. I mean, the only thing that I actually felt that helped was eating. If I kept I try to keep eating as much. I noticed as I ate,
to try to bring you back.
I started to get a little bit of energy, but then I broke back down. But if you don't eat, it gets worse.
Like all of you are explaining experiences in which like you just got really high, and I don't understand. Maybe you guys just kind of like got too scared. It's like when you're like on the swing, and you're like getting damn near horizontal, and you kind of like you might not want to do it because you feel like you might fall back or whatever. Like,
I got some gummies if y'all.
Yo,
you got some gummies? Pull them
I
out.
got some gummies.
Pull them out. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I'm gonna pull it right now.
Boy, lying, boy.
So James,
you get crazy with chef and stuff. Like what's some wild stuff you done?
Honey glazed salmon. But when I was in DC, we had the red snapper. How it works is, so we, of course, we measure the dosage.
Right.
Because if you're having a meal, just for all the Canada chefs out here, gauge out how much butter and how much stuff you're using throughout this meal. Like every item does not need to be jam packed with oil and jam packed with flour, because that's when it goes all downhill.
So salmon,
saute, anything. I mean, our buddy can saute with.
Okay.
I know some people it's slightly flavorless. I know people put it in their teas in the morning. Because a lot of our consumers aren't necessarily people that get high, but people who are fighting ailments.
Oh, true.
One of our growers was wounded warrior. Literally was shot up and blown up so much in the military he can't even get a job. So he grows, and literally the caregiving process, like he uses that for ailments.
Right. Plus, it's the side business for him.
I mean, of course,
right?
And then really chefed up. So,
his name Wild.
He's
a bucket.
Yeah, some jokes. But yeah, man. Anything you can think of, it's gonna be, man. Cook the fish, man.
We'll
I
update
want
y'all
to.
on that.
I just don't want to regret. I just want to make sure I use the right amount of butter.
Call James when you make
Yeah, I'm like, you need to have a hotline. Hey, yo, James, I'm about to cook right now, but I don't want to ruin my night. So let me know.
And the beauty of the butter, and the reason why the butter has been such a success, especially like when we go to Papa Shots, man, we run through it. It's because of the fact that you can always put more in it. You don't have to fully consume it.
Have you ever had marijuana desserts? Like,
yeah, I've had creme brulee.
oh wow.
I mean, I've had this ice cream with so one of the chefs we work with, all she makes is sauces. So I mean, something like this, the syrups on the ice cream, apple pies. Like, I've one of my homies based out of Chicago. He's big. He has a can of brunch. They travel to different cities and whatnot. And him and my boy Dave, my boy Cameron and my boy Dave, they like chefed up all types of stuff. I mean, you'd be surprised how many. I would guarantee that right now in Harlem there is at least one can of dinner going on right now. At least somebody.
A can of dinner, so just all marijuana infused delicacies.
Especially when they're dealing with ailments. I mean,
Right.
CBDs in their daily routine. One of my partners, his mother, she has what she has going on, and we make CBD treats for her, and we have butter that's solely towards that.
I heard the indicas will fuck you up, so I'm gonna do a sativa. 100. See,
So
my
you're
ass
supposed to take- you're supposed to
before.
take a corner. Yeah.
See, the directions weren't like this on the damn brownie. The shit just had a freaking brownie in a package, no directions, no milligrams, nothing.
It says 4 servings per candy on the back.
Oh, that's real.
Thanks.
Thank you for being
Thanks,
responsible.
Dior.
Oh shit, look that up,
Aren't you a Redskins fan, James?
bro. Oh man, yeah.
Talk about it. You guys pull one out.
You
though?
know, James, I liked you a lot 30 seconds ago.
Nick is an Eagles
But you know what?
fan.
I'm not mad at you.
Y'all do your thing.
I mean, I'm not mad at anybody in the NFC East. In fact, I love y'all.
Bro, when